I
People
don't
just
know. I
having
mean,
that.
I have a lot of conversations with a lot of teams, and
Yeah.
I'm shocked at some of them not knowing, like, where their last 10 deals even came from. And
Oh,
they're
okay.
doing, like, 150 million in volume or 50 million in volume. I'm like, "Man, David, you're doing 50 million in volume, and you're just kinda, like, shooting at the hip, flying blind, however you wanna
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever descriptor you wanna use. But what if you actually knew what was working? Could you be doing 250 million?" And I think it's because it's hard to market and go
Yeah.
on appointments and to leverage other team members if you don't have systems and processes in play. Like, you're just kinda running around like a chicken with its head cut off
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
100%.
And they don't truly understand the importance that this is not just like an HGTV, like, "Oh, Andrew went out and did this, and he bought a house for 500 and put a dollar into it, then sold it for 1,000,000 and made 1,000,000." Like, it's not that cookie cutter,
Right.
right? There are costs, there are a lot of things that you have to look at. So, I think it's that they just become so busy with trying to get that closing, and I fell into the same trap for the first few years,
Yeah.
running and operating our team. You just become so ensconced in, like, working in the business that you slowly, painfully at some point or sometimes forget about working on the business.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to the Profit First ROI podcast. We have Andrew Becker on today. I'm really excited about this one because Andrew is a believer in Profit First, has
I am.
implemented Profit First, and it has helped him. But also, he's just recently come into my world, but through some people that I really trust and that I'm a part of. And Andrew and his companies solve lots of problems in the real estate marketplace. So I'm really excited to get to know Andrew better, but then also tell about what he does. So, Andrew, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, David. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm super, thankful that we are able to connect through, Tom and
Yeah.
Nashville and Coaching Inc. and everything. So, I'm excited to be on, man.
Yeah, so Tom Kroll is how we connected. So if you're
Yeah.
in the real estate world, you probably have heard his name, or if not, you've probably either been taught by or at least heard on Facebook or something, someone that was touched by Tom because he's made
Yeah.
such a huge impact on the real estate investing world. And now he's bringing other people together, and that's how we got connected. But Andrew, I want to know, and a lot of people probably want to know, like, the background, like, how did you even get into the real estate side of things? You've got lots of things that you actually help on the real estate side, from CRMs to getting leads in the door to just helping people make sure that they have a good business and getting the revenue in the door. So tell me a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, sure. So I started back in real estate in 2013. Started at KW, Keller Williams brokerage in Arlington, Virginia. I'm in the DC area. So me and my best friend from middle school started a team. From 2013 to 20, what was it, 24, I was the operations person, kind of leading the tech stack, I guess, and the lead gen, while my partner Dan did sales and the visionary stuff. But through my time during, running and operating the team, which had a lot of people and a lot of moving parts, we kind of spun off a few other real estate related companies that I'm happy to touch on it if you'd like. But yeah, we started off in retail, David. So we did
Yeah.
like buyers and listings, and then here's another Tom Kroll connection that we can make. So I think I'm really bad with dates, but I believe about 8 years ago, so like 2017, 18-ish, we heard about this thing called like wholesaling. Like, what's wholesaling, right? And we wound up signing up for Wholesaling Inc. with Tom. That's how I originally met
Yeah.
Tom. And then TTP, Talk to People with Brett Daniels. So we were in both of those. So subsequently, long story short, there, David, is we were very retail heavy. We found out about wholesaling. And then once we kind of got our act together and started to see real data points of what was
Yeah.
working, we looked and said, hey, this wholesaling sales cycle is much shorter,
Yeah.
and it was returning more at the gross and net revenue for us. So we kind of like flipped our model on its end and said, hey, why don't we start with wholesaling first, with deliberate marketing campaigns to motivated, urgent, needed sellers, and see if we can help them there. But if not, we had the internal processes of saying, hey, David, I could buy your house tomorrow, or if you need to, we can list your property and get the most value.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that all inside of one house. So it was very efficient and very effective for us.
Okay, very cool. I do want to ask, you signed up for Wholesaling Inc. after being in retail, and it sounds like you did well. Like, what do you think separated you guys and taking action, doing all that stuff versus so many people that sign up for all the programs, the courses, those types of
Right.
interactions? What made you successful?
Honestly, so I'm very OCD, David. Like
Okay.
if you
So
move something on
OCD.
my
So I'm writing that down. So you must be
yeah, you have
OCD.
to be OCD to be successful in real
Yeah.
estate, number 1. No, but yeah, if you move something on my desk, I will know exactly how much to the left you moved it. That's
Yeah.
how, like, kinda stupid OCD I am. But I think it's just as the operations person, it might sound a little silly, but I got tired of asking people to do the same thing over and over again, right? "Hey, David, you went on this appointment. What happened? Can you tell me? Can you update the CRM?
Yeah.
Can you do this?" And as we got bigger and bigger and better at what we did, I wanted technology to help solve some of those problems.
Yeah.
So I'm not a tech founder. Like, if you gave me a algorithm for $1 billion code to upload, I wouldn't even know where to upload it.
Yeah.
That's how, like, but I can architecturally tell experts,
Sure.
"Hey, this is how I want it." So as we iterated and tweaked and pivoted our systems and our tools over time, I built in those processes so they'd be repeatable and predictable and almost like boring.
Yeah.
So we just did the consistent same thing. How do you set an appointment? You do it this way. How do you say we signed a wholesale contract? You do it that way. And that was the only way. So that helped with the little, like, I'll call it the low hanging fruit type of stuff,
Sure.
David. So I didn't have to bother and spend a lot of time and stress over it.
That
So
makes
as we
sense.
did that for 11 years, we got incredibly lean and very efficient and effective at what we did. And then the most important thing, this kind of goes into the profit first mindset,
Yeah.
kind of thinking like a business owner. We started tracking data in real time.
Ah.
So it wasn't just like
So,
my emotional tie to PPC. It was PPC has been returning the most amount of revenue. Why don't we
yeah.
do more of that? Postcard A with my face on it did horrible. Nobody likes looking at my face. Let's do less of that. But it wasn't just I think it was no, let's look at the real like tangibles
Yeah.
and make decisions based off of that. So that's how we're able to grow and scale quite effectively.
Okay, so that's just going to open up more questions for me. So then the data side, obviously, because I like that side, and then you just mentioned profit first.
Yeah.
When did that happen on your journey? Did something happen where you're like, why aren't we tracking this? Or like, did something where you were like, hey, we just spent a lot of money, and where did all that go? Or like, tell me what even I would love to know when on your journey and what
Yeah.
caused the trigger of like, we got to be tracking this stuff.
Yeah, so again, I'm horrible with dates,
Yeah,
so I'll just ballpark it, but
yeah, ballpark
maybe
fine.
7, 8, 9 years ago,
Okay,
when we were first getting into, like, just trying to close, 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 and
yeah,
I didn't even know at that time, like, I didn't know what I didn't know as a business owner. I was like, "Let's just get money in, that's all we care about, transaction closing, lead, appointment, sign, close,"
yeah,
like, that was it, and then I'm going to say in 20 I don't know, 17, 16, around there, we hired a coach. This was separate from, Wholesaling Inc. So we got a coach, and he was like, "Hey, I'm coming to your office, Andrew, in a month. I wanna know every single lead by lead source and when it came in.
yeah,
Of those leads, how many appointments were set? How many were held? How many were signed? Of those signed, how many closed? How many fell off? Of those closed, how much money came in? What was the average? What was this? What was that?" And I didn't know anything about tracking data or KPIs at that point, nor did I have a system in place. We had like
sure,
spreadsheets, but it was like me trying to collect information from you and from this guy and that guy and
yeah,
that guy and this girl and like whoever. And it was just like a crazy chaotic show.
yeah,
And I would stress for about 2, 3 weeks for the entire time that I knew he was coming on, like, okay, the 1st of the month, he's gonna be here. He's flying in from Florida. He was in Tampa. And I put together this spreadsheet, had no clue or confidence in it, like any real high confidence level. And then so I spent weeks on this dude. And like, that's all I did. And I couldn't focus on anything else. And within 2 minutes, he picked it apart and said, "This doesn't seem right to me." So I was like, crap, I can't like live my life like this, let alone run a business like this.
right,
So we started to implement at the time. before we created Billions, which was actually the the what became of the system that we used internally that we spun off.
Mm,
That was the first company that we spun off.
yeah,
Um, it was well-known CRMs out there that I loved using, but then I quickly found out that they didn't really have the features around data that I needed.
yeah,
But the solution was always Zapier and this tool, and then that tool, and then
that's
that tool.
yeah,
So before you knew it, it was like a CRM, Zapier, and 8 other things, and it was a nightmare to kinda track. So long story short there, dude, we wound up building what would become Billions, but it was all native, and we made data collection, unbeknownst to the user. So in our platform, in our framework of how we run and operate our business, there's the framework of a real estate transaction, right? So a new lead comes in, you set an appointment, you sign it, whether a buyer, a listing, a wholesale, you go under contract, you assign, and then you close. So we made that pipeline a straight across from left to right pipeline, and you could only do it one way. But we made some of the fields that we collected, and you click a button that said like wholesale contract sign or
yeah,
listing sign, fill in some information. There were some mandatory fields on that form that you would submit. Those yielded and populated all the reporting that we would need. And so, unbeknownst to the person filling it in, it would calculate like, oh, Andrew set another Google PPC appointment with a projected income, projected assignment fee of
yeah,
35K. And then a projected money bucket would plus up by 35K. So, we're able to use that system of running things for that, number one. But number two, it was really cool because we could just say, hey, David, you want to be an appointment center on our team? Here's the one way you set an appointment. That's all you have to worry about. Click here,
mm,
fill this in, click save, moves to appointment, plus one up by David appointment, plus one up by whatever lead source, revenues starting to get tracked. So it was that kind of systematized singular process that
yeah,
really led to the data. And now going way back to like the original spreadsheet that I got like obliterated on by my coach. Now I'm like, hey, dude, what do you want to see? Oh, I want to
yeah,
see this. Cool. By month, by quarter, by year, relative to last year. And I just click a few buttons and then I show him what he wants to see. So
yeah,
that's the difference for me. And I was like, stupid, not knowing what I was doing, such a novice, a business operator
sure.
to like, okay, now I have all these reports. How do you want to see it, man? Bar chart, donut chart, bar graph, line chart? Like, what do you want?
That's great. So it sounds like you came from like, I have no idea what I'm doing to now I could show you in 6 different flavors and colors and like what do you want to see and what should I not put on here, versus like what do I where do I get this stuff?
Yeah, so I'm messing with the data to
Yeah.
show it how you wanna see it versus collecting it and panicking and not knowing if
Yeah.
I'm even collecting everything, and that's a major turning point in a company when you can realize that.
It
So
is.
that's how important it is to us.
Awesome. Well, I love that. And you mentioned that you have a system that has this now. Do you want to just talk about like if someone's looking for that, like Billions, if they want to check it out?
Yeah, sure. So, right off the bat, so Billions is for teams. It's the team model, and a way I just like to describe this, David, is like you want to start a burger joint, right?
Yeah.
Like David's Burger. You have to source where you're getting your food, the delivery schedule, find land, build a building, the logo, the
Mhm.
branding, kitchen, POS system, whatever. Or you can just go get a McDonald's, and it's like here's the blueprint that you have to follow, right?
Yeah.
But in certain regions, like in southern parts of, the US, you can have, like, southern stuff on the menu that you wouldn't necessarily have in northern parts, so you
Right.
can customize it a little bit. That's what Billions is for teams. So 11 years of I don't even know how many CRMs we were on, but probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in thrown out technology from
Yeah.
hitting a ceiling that the only solution was get more tools that I just grew tired of. So Billions is what I like to call and refer to as the 95% team solution. All the little nuances of me not wanting to have to do or remember things that a team operator would
Right.
have to know, but we're actually built on top of Salesforce. So you can take it the rest of the 5% and customize it for how David Richter
Yeah.
wants to own his and operate. So you're like, hey, Billions is cool, but it would be awesome if I can have it for my team do A, B, and C, and
Yeah.
then you can make that happen.
Awesome.
So it's the team operating system. It's got all the bells and whistles you need for the day-to-day stuff. And then one other kind of cool aspect is we've kind of gone out and tried all the dialers, all the direct mailers, all
Yeah.
the, the different features. But if so they're built in. We've already paid for and integrated them and they're built into the reporting. However, if you don't want the dialer on day one, David, we hide it. You don't
Yeah.
even know it exists. And then a month goes by and you say, "Hey, you know what? I'm tired of doing cell phone calls on my personal line. I want to get a business line and I want to implement the dialer." Then as quickly as we can, but within 24 to 48 hours, this button appears that says phone. You click on it, now you can call and text and everything's recorded and stored. And we have that kind of like a la carte option
Yeah.
menu for features where if you don't want e-signature today, but you want it tomorrow, we set it up for you and you don't have to go out and find a good dialer and
Yeah.
then an integrator or developer to like set it up and integrate it for you. So that's kind of how we operate. So if you
Awesome.
don't want it, it's not even there. If you want it, it just pops up within a very short amount of time and you can start using it right away.
Is that at billions.com? How someone would find that?
It's actually joinbillions.com. If
Join.
you can find the owner of billions.com, I've reached out to him and that person a million times to try to acquire that. But yeah, joinbillions.com is what we have.
All right, I have to pause the episode real quick. If you're a real estate investor who's tired of wondering where your money is going or why you're closing deals but still feeling broke, you need to talk to Simple CFO. Simple CFO is Profit First certified and fully endorsed by Mike McAlowitz, the creator of Profit First himself. Our team specializes in helping real estate investors finally get control of their cash flow so you keep more money, you pay yourself consistently, and build a business that doesn't run on chaos. We'll help you implement the Profit First system the right way, set up the financial processes you've been missing, and give you a dedicated fractional CFO who actually understands investing and keeping track of your numbers on flips, wholesales, rentals, private lending, all of it. So if you want predictable profit instead of living deal to deal, head over to simplecfo.com and book your financial clarity call today. That's simplecfo.com. Stop living in confusion and start keeping the money you work so hard to earn. Now, back to the episode. Awesome. So joinbillions.com, that's that CRM that really helps you. It not just sounds like get deals in the door and know all that, but all the data behind it as well too, because you had to go through that and learn like what do I need to see as a business owner, really helping
Yeah.
if they have a team. That's awesome. I did want to ask, since you got down the road of knowing where every piece of information is and being able to know, like, are you really making a return? When
Yeah.
did Profit First come in? Like, was that part of that journey of data and knowing that? And then, like, this is the system for the money part? I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how Profit First fit into all that for you.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So profit first fit in because you allocate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Percentages into certain buckets. So
Yeah,
what we did when we were using Billions marketing dashboard, for example,
yeah,
is we would say, "Hey, we want to do X amount of deals." We'd go to the marketing dashboard and that was a breakdown of leads through interested leads, appointments, all the way through close and revenue. So we're able to project and predict and plan using our Profit First bank account, plural, bank
yeah,
accounts, and the marketing plan. So we could do this in real time. So for the next quarter, we'd say, "Hey, where did our revenue come from last quarter? PPC and probates, right? Or
yeah,
whatever the lead sources are, because it would tell us what our top performing lead sources were in real time, and then we'd go and be able to mirror it up against what's in our P&L with our bank accounts and say, okay, well, this X amount of revenue came in. Why don't we adjust, if we had our standalone marketing bank account for allocations,
yeah,
that kind of fell into our OpEx account, David,
yeah,
but you kind of get the idea. So we'd say, okay, well, we're throwing 45% into our OpEx, which includes that marketing, but we want to start to plus up. So why don't we go from 45 to 47 or 51 or whatever? So we'd adjust that accordingly based on what was working and what wasn't. So
yeah,
that's just one small example, but that's kind of how we would tie in using real data to know
yeah.
what we'd want to do next.
That's awesome. So then how'd you get introduced to Profit First? Like, was that a system that was introduced by that coach or something where it's like, hey, you need to be tracking your money? Or do you remember how that
Yeah.
came to be? Like how you got
I
on
don't
the system?
know, like, if I'm sure if I really thought about it, I could
Sure.
figure out where it came from, but, I like to read a lot, and
Yeah.
it was probably just one of the books that somebody said, "Hey, you need to read this." Like, I read Traction. That
Yeah.
was, like, one of the first business books I read, and then somewhere along the line, someone gave me the Profit First, but or told me about it, and I bought it, and I read it, and I was like, we have to implement this. So now
Nice.
across all of our companies, we implement, and I help to teach that too, and some of the stuff that I have going on,
Yeah.
the profit first, you know, MO here, and it's fantastic. I love it. So I
Nice.
don't know. I read the book at one point, and I just got obsessed with it, and we implemented it everywhere.
Obviously, since it's the Profit First REI podcast, I want to dig in a little bit there. When you say I love it, and it's like the best and you love it, like what has it helped you with? Is it the clarity? Is it stuff cool that you've been able to do with the cash? Or like obviously it sounds like you're reinvesting back into the best marketing channel, like and
Right.
being able to have those percentages. But what does that mean to you? Like when you say that you love the system?
Well, I would really say first and foremost, it takes any emotion out
Mm,
of your financial
yeah.
mindset, right? Or what you do with your finances. It's not like 1 month we made, 150K in profit and we're like, cool, this month let's just take it all. It was like that capital or money discipline
Yeah.
that as a business owner is of utmost importance because 1 month you might be making 150 in profit, but then the next month you might be losing 2K. And then you're like,
Right.
"Oh, shoot, I wish last month we didn't take that distribution and split the profits and, like, get it out of the company."
Yeah.
So it led to, like, I'm not deciding. Like, what we would do, David, I think on it was either monthly or quarterly basis, it's like, should we readjust the percentages or add if we wanted to do something big, like TV commercials or whatever,
Yeah.
we'd add, like, a temporary account and we'd fund it. So we'd have the allocated funds to not have to worry about if it doesn't work, then we're screwed, right? So we'd
Right.
be like, "Okay, $1,000 up to, 20K for X, Y, and Z special fund. Once we had it, we'd shut it down and move on."
Yeah.
But it was just that, okay, we just made 50K. I don't decide how much goes into each. It's just I literally made my own profit first calculator with I just put the what account it was and percentage formula. I'd type in how much money we had at the top and it would tell me how much money to put into each account and I would just move it.
Nice.
And so it wasn't like me deciding what to do or having a meeting about it
Yeah.
every time. It's like discipline, discipline, discipline. This is how it works. And then we make minor shifts and
Yeah.
changes to the percentages over time.
That's awesome, and it sounds like it's really helped you, like you said there multiple times, the money discipline, really having that it's consistency, building that over time, but then I like what you
Yeah.
said too, it takes the emotions out. I really
Dude,
like
I've
that.
I've implemented this, so I have a P&L for my personal life too,
Nice.
and I've
Awesome.
implemented profit first, so I have, like it's a little bit different, but I have, like, house fund,
Yeah,
vacation fund,
yeah,
emergency fund, those kinda things, so every time I get paid, percentage goes into vacation fund, so I pre-allocate a vacation for us and my family,
yeah,
which I've had to as I've had more kids, I have 4 now, we've had to up that percentage to be able to pay for everyone, but you
yeah.
kinda get the idea. I just became obsessed with it in business. I'm like, why not just do this for my personal finances as well?
That's awesome, and I love hearing that, and it seems like if you hadn't already gone down the personal finance road with someone out there that if you get introduced to profit first at the business side, I've heard so many people then start to implement it in the personal life as well too. And
Yeah,
I love hearing that, like
yeah,
that you've been able to do that. And like you said, it's not profit first is more that principle. It's more of the I'm intentional with every dollar. And so it just sounds like when you get paid, you're actually funding the things that you really wanted the business to
yeah.
provide for you, like the vacations or whatever it might be, and that's where profit first is helping you to achieve those on the personal side as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same concept of using data to say what's
Mm,
working and what's not. It's not
yeah,
my opinion that David, the appointment setter, is fantastic at his job. We're paying him 5K a month, but he's bringing in 100K a month or whatever, right?
right.
And setting 12 appointments a week instead of 7.
Yeah,
But then Andrew, the appointment center, is doing the exact opposite. Like, it's just fact.
yeah,
So money fact with the profit first model, and then with data and KPIs in real time, it's just facts that you're dealing with, and it's not, you know, anyone's discretion. It's like,
right.
is it working or is it not? Are they
Exactly.
working or are they not?
Yeah, yeah, and I like how you put that. It's like, is that cash working? And like,
Yeah.
is it where it needs to be? Otherwise, it's like, well, there it is in black and white, literally on your bank account screen. Like, or is
Yeah.
this? Well, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think a lot of I mean, I don't this is an assumption, but I think a lot of people in business in general, specifically in real estate, since I know this world, don't act that way. And
Mm,
then it's hard and they come into some hardships or
yeah,
financial hardships because of not the non-disciplined part of running a company.
yeah,
They just see like the commission checks and they're not planning for the future. But if you set it up that way, it kind of takes, real estate's like this.
yeah,
Until
roller
you
coaster.
really you have it effective and efficient and it's going like this, like
Yeah,
consistently. That's why you want to, in my opinion, want to implement something like this. So when there are downtimes, you're not scared where your money's coming from because you were disciplined 6 months ago
yeah.
and you have it allocated already.
Right. Yeah, it's I that statement I heard a long time ago, it's kind of cliche. It's like, am I going to thank my future self for this? And it's like with profit first, it's like as soon as you implement it, it's like, why didn't I do this on day one?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
that's where it sounds like with what you've done, you've been able to tweak it over the years and just obviously customize it to what you need. But then it's like, I'm glad we've been doing this and we've got the consistency and the discipline because now, like you said, a lot of people just go out there and it's like they wish they would have done this.
Yeah.
Why do you think a lot of people go that route of they're just like, hey, if there's money, great. If there's not money, what do you think is some of the root causes there of like
I
people
don't
just
know. I
having
mean,
that?
I have a lot of conversations with a lot of teams, and
Yeah.
I'm shocked at some of them not knowing like where their last 10 deals even came from. And they're
Okay.
doing like 150 million in volume or 50 million in volume. I'm like, man, David, you're doing 50 million in volume and you're just kind of like shooting at the hip, flying blind, however you want to,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever descriptor you want to use. But what if you actually knew what was working? Could you be doing 250 million? And I think it's because it's hard to market and go
Yeah.
on appointments and to leverage other team members if you don't have systems and processes in play. Like you're just kind of running around like a chicken with its head cut off
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
100%.
And they don't truly understand the importance that this is not just like an HGTV, like, oh, Andrew went out and did this and he bought a house for 500 and put $1 into it, then sold it for 1 million and made 1 million. Like it's not that cookie cutter,
Right.
right? There are costs, there are a lot of things that you have to look at. So I think it's that they just become so busy with trying to get that closing. And I fell into the same trap for the first few years
Yeah.
running and operating our team. You just become so ensconced in like working in the business that you slowly, painfully at some point or at sometimes forget about working on the business.
Yeah.
So then it just sometimes for a lot of people just never happens and they go out and they get a CRM because, oh, everyone's using it, but then it
Sure.
doesn't truly do what they need it to do. And then they're like, go out and do this and get that and get that and get that. And then they're like, well, I have 10 appointments to go on.
Yeah.
And it just falls to the wayside. And then they're just kind of continuing along that line of hustle, hustle, hustle.
Yeah.
But for us in our team, we always knew we wanted to leverage other great, amazing team members to set appointments, to go on the appointments so we can kind of run and manage that. So thankfully, I had an amazing team behind me where I could focus on building what I'm describing right now, which helped tremendously in our career and in our company.
No, I love that. And I like what you said, the working on, not in, made famous what by the E Myth and like the
Yeah.
systems that you have. And I think sometimes people forget that that doesn't just mean the operational side and like putting the systems in place from that perspective, but also the financial systems. Like, don't forget those ones. Like, don't forget that you should be able to tell your money where it's going. And that's really how you buy back your time. So it sounds like you got very disciplined on that side and you paired that with the data and with the systems and with the operations and with the team members and everything. So that way it really was the full cohesive. I'm not just scaling and I'm like beating my head against the wall. It's like, yes, I'm scaling and there are going to be frustrating moments, but you knew where the dollars
Yeah.
were and like where to be able to point them the best way from profit first, but also profit first informing from the returns on investment that you were able to track through
Yeah.
your systems and the stuff that you had set up,
Yeah,
so
I'll take it a step further too. It was even like a recruiting tool in indirect, like it just
okay.
happened to work that way. So like I'll give you an example.
Yeah, I'd love an
uh,
example.
Gary wants to join a team,
Yeah,
right? And he meets with you, and you have everything we just described. And you're like, Gary, on my team, you're going to have this role. Here's what you do for this role. You log in, you do this, you click that, and it tells us everything we need to know. By the way, here's what we've done the last year, the last quarter. Here's what you can, make on average per commission. Here's how many, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah.
Then he comes to me and I'm like, hey, yeah, like I'm going to give you leads and I use a spreadsheet and like this is that. And who do you think he's going to think is a little bit more of a
Professional.
professional here?
Right. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. The
Probably
one
the
who knows the
former. He's going to
numbers.
say, dang, this guy has his stuff together.
Yeah.
It's a system where you can bring someone in to tangibly do something, not just this pipe dream of like one day we'll have it. So it works in that regard too, where it's
Yeah.
like you come in and you just plug into an engine that's already working.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool too. And then it spits out, like I said before, is Gary good? Has
Yeah,
he,
exactly.
this week, what has Gary done? This quarter, what has Gary done? But then you're having kind of to bring it full circle, David, you're having like the is Gary good or bad conversation sooner rather than later because of the way I described collecting the data.
Yeah.
You're not waiting until the end of the year to realize that Gary, brought in negative numbers or broke even or brought in 1% of over what you brought him or you
Right.
paid him, right?
Yeah.
Versus Samantha, who brought in, 15x on her salary, whatever you're
Yeah.
paying her.
No, I love that. It's like being able to know those numbers and being able to project out, being able to use it for recruiting. It just does come full circle when you have that data. So, Andrew, this has been awesome. How can people get a hold of you? I know joinbillions.com was for the actual site if you want to go down that road and have an amazing software that helps you with tracking the numbers for your team. But how can people get a hold of you besides that?
The easiest way, yeah, Join Billions is the website. The easiest way, though, I'm on social media, the same tag, whatever my name is called. I forgot what it is, but it's I am Andrew Becker. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the
All the
ones that
stuff.
everybody, yeah, all the
All the
stuff.
stuff. Awesome. Well, cool. That's how you can connect with him at I am Andrew Becker on all the socials. And then remember, joinbillions.com if you want to go there. And if you were listening to this conversation and you're like, wow, I really need the numbers. I need the profit first setup. I need to make sure that I know where every dollar is going and work on the financial side of the business. You can head over to simplecfo.com. That's where you could get a fractional CFO with us. We'll implement profit first. If you need the bookkeeping set up for profit first, all that stuff, we can help you over there because we don't want it to just be something you listen to. We want you to keep more of the money you're making. Andrew can help you make that money and help you know where every dollar's going and his systems and stuff. So I highly recommend looking into Andrew, looking into the Join Billions, and just seeing if there's a fit there for you. But Andrew, thank you so much for coming on today. Is any last words of wisdom that you want to impart?
Um, Always be learning.
Always be
So
learning.
I like learning through books.
Yeah,
I got your book,
likewise.
read it. It's fantastic. It's awesome. I need a signed copy. So if you go to Orlando for the Coaching Inc.
There
Thing
you go.
in Orlando,
Yep,
I'll bring it. Need you to sign it. But
that's good.
never stop learning. Get into the right room. You like just like this new room that I'm in that brought us together, David. If you feel stuck or stagnant, or you're struggling in your business, it's something that someone else out there has also probably gone through. So it's just a matter of time before you find the right person that can help you get out of that hole.
Good stuff. So always be learning. Great ending advice there, Andrew. And if you're listening to this, remember to make profit a habit in your business. That's it for today's show. Be sure to subscribe, review, and share this episode. If you're serious about financial systems and keeping more of your profit, visit simplecfo.com to take your free discovery call today.